Glasshouse Brands are doing some really interesting stuff in the cannabis space in the US, in California. And in this video, I'm going to share with you all the unique things that they're doing and the competitive advantage they have compared to other cannabis companies in the US, which is why I kind of consider them to be a really interesting investment opportunity. Glasshouse Brands are a manufacturer of cannabis flower, and they have access to a 5.5 million square foot greenhouse, of which they only currently use 20% capacity. And this is like a standout competitive advantage that they have compared to all the other competitors who they don't have access to an innovative or like high-tech facility of this nature. And at the time of this video, Glasshouse Brands are actually producing cannabis at $500 to $600 per pound, where competitors in other states are manufacturing cannabis at $1,800 to $3,000 per pound. And because of the cutting-edge technology that they have access to through this greenhouse, they are actually able to cut down the cost of electricity in the manufacturing of cannabis. You know, they are located perfectly in California, which is known to have great climate. You know, it's a top producing agricultural state in the US. California is known for its wine, you know, for the production of grapes, for the production of avocados as well. And so all of these things really put them at a competitive advantage compared to manufacturers in other states. And so it's the basic principles of business 101, which is low pricing just flushes out all competition. And again, with Glasshouse Brands, you know, they are known for producing high quality cannabis as well. They're the #1 producer of quality cannabis in California, and I think at the time of this video they only actually have 3% of the market in California as well, which means that there's so much more room to grow. And so like I was saying about, you know, they are only using 20% of the capacity of this greenhouse at the moment. And if they can get this to full capacity, you know, that's going to 5x the output in the production of their cannabis. And I think combined with other factors like their core focus on driving down the price as much as they possibly can, really it looks like if they play their cards right over the next few years, you know, they are going to pretty much dominate the cannabis industry initially in California. And then obviously it's about kind of waiting, being patient and looking at the future with interstate commerce potentially opening up. They will be able to dominate the cannabis market in the US. And so like I mentioned with Grown Rogue in another video, who are also a really interesting cannabis company in the US, Glasshouse Brands are also buying up a lot of machinery from cannabis farmers, cannabis businesses, who are just shutting up shop because they just cannot compete with their pricing. And so inside ownership also looks really healthy. There's about 15% from what I can see through individuals. Now there probably might be a little bit more, because in some cases what happens is that insiders, they own a greater stake of a company through an LLP or another organization as well. And so there are some huge opportunities here, what with the potential for growth and all of the stuff that I mentioned on the political side around the rescheduling, and also the Safer Banking Act, which is taking place at the moment. And I think what they're doing is that they've decided to start really small and really focus on just a portion of their capacity or output and really drill that down so that they can perfect the logistical elements of the production cycle of that grass house, with view in the future of moving gradually to full capacity. Now the truth is that with this expansion into the new, the full capacity of the greenhouse, you know, that's going to take a lot of work and a lot of investment. Now it may be that they will need to borrow money from a bank. That is if the Safer Banking Act comes through, or in other cases they're going to potentially have to take out a business loan. There are certain risks obviously with that in terms of borrowing money. And it's worth considering that they're only at the very beginning, which on one hand can be seen as a competitive advantage, as in getting in early, but then at the same time, you know, have they done enough to demonstrate proof of concept? And so one way that they could be looking at this is that they will borrow money and use the asset, the greenhouse that they have, and lend against that as equity. the other option would be that they dilute shareholders. So that would mean issuing more shares to generate more cash so that they can fund the next phase, the next 20% perhaps, of that greenhouse. And so if I'm totally honest, there are a lot of things that hinge on this, in terms of, there's the Safer Banking Act, there's the rescheduling of cannabis, and there's also, this discussion of interstate commerce. So right now, because different states have different regulations around cannabis cannot be shipped out from one state to another. So for example, even in California, where cannabis is legal, and Oregon, just next door, where cannabis is also legal, you cannot move cannabis from California to Oregon. From what I can see, when you start seeing things gain traction or momentum, you start seeing changes happen. We've seen the relaxation of cannabis across the world, whether it's in Canada, the decriminalization of drugs in Portugal. The industry is gradually opened up to the idea of the benefits of CBD across the world, in the UK as well, with certain creams and certain products. So it does seem that over the next few years there is this transition. There is a change in the perception of cannabis with the population, with people, and it's almost like legislation or authorities are gradually catching up with that. Now they're currently trading at about $5 a share. The price has kind of gradually gone up very recently, what with the tailwinds taking place with, like I said, the rescheduling of cannabis and the Safer Banking Act, and people starting to see that these kind of things will completely change the climate with cannabis moving forward over the long term, over the next 3, 5 and 10 years. At the same time, there's still a long way to go here. They have 80% of the capacity yet to be filled. And what with it being a growing business, or a business in growth, I can see them having some turbulent times ahead. And I do think that the share price may fluctuate up and down. And there may be opportunities in the future to get it at a cheaper price that is currently trading. The highest it's traded at is around $10, and at the moment, like I was saying, it's at 5 or thereabouts, just under 5. If you want to find out more about Glasshouse Brands, there are a couple of videos in the link in the description which kind of show you a little bit more about the use of cutting edge technology. There's also an interview with the owners as well, so have a look at them. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if I've added value, and catch you soon. All the best.